Hey guys, so today I'm going to start with a video, as always, about my marriage because my marriage provides a lot of things to think about when it comes to marriage, go figure. It's a great laboratory for me to get good stories and to come up with ideas for these Facebook Lives that I do for you guys every week. So before I do that, I just want to introduce myself. If you don't know who I am, I'm Janna Denton-Howes. I'm a marriage coach and creator of 30 Days to Wanting It More, 30 Days to Her Wanting You More, Marriage Mastery Club. I don't think I'm forgetting any of them. So this morning, my husband came into our bedroom with really good news. Actually, his work, we have stock options with his work or shares, and we had really good news, really, really awesome, ideal news. And before I even celebrated that or got excited about it, I kind of went down the really negative path. I went down into our budgeting and how we haven't been on our budget and how we haven't met with our money coach recently. And he just kind of he took it for a little bit, but then he was like, it's so interesting how I came in here with good news and that's all you have to say about it. So I also found it interesting. So I'm going to talk about today, how do you deal with a negative spouse? Because often you'll have somebody who's just more positive and the other person is more pessimistic, more negative. Surprise, surprise, I am the more pessimistic, negative spouse. So these tips I'm about to share with you are gleaned from my husband in his patient way of dealing with me, the problem one. Okay, so here are my top 3 tips. The first one comes from my husband, and I was asking him for advice. Actually, not today, but before. How do I help these other people who are struggling with negative spouses? He's like, you got to keep your spark alive. You got to stay positive yourself. Don't let your spouse bring you down into their pessimistic attitude or their negativity about the world. You, as the more positive one, more optimistic one, have a really important role to play in your marriage. And if you aren't keeping your spark alive, then that's not helping anyone. So do whatever you have to. If that means not being around your spouse when they're in a grumpy mood, whether that means taking some time off and doing things you love, or just being around other really positive people. So whatever you need to do, keep that positive spark alive. Don't let the negative one drag you down. Speaking from the negative one perspective. Second tip is ask if they have a request. Because often people who are more pessimistic, negative, have a hard time making requests. And so what they do instead is complain. And if you ask them if they have a request, then that gets them, you can't really complain about that. I mean, you either have a request or you don't. So my husband will often do this for me. And yes, I admit there is a moment where I'm like, you're not just gonna let me complain, but it does snap me out of it sometimes, and it works really well. Of course, your tone of voice matters, because if you're like, like that, like, oh, do you have a request or what? Like, stop your baking and nagging and negativity, then obviously it's not going to go very well. So, be sincere about actually wanting to know what it is that they want help with, or what it is you can do to help them. And they might just say, well, there's nothing you can do. There's no moving forward here. I just want to complain. That gets me to my third and last tip, which is give them a time frame. My husband will do this to me. He'll say, I can handle about 5 more minutes of negativity. And then after that, I really need us to focus on the positive, or I have to leave the room or do whatever he needs to do. And that is an incredibly mature thing to be able to do. And of course, sometimes I'm like, wait a minute here, like, what do you mean I can't keep on talking? You're shutting me down. But that's him keeping his spark alive, which was the first tip. Okay, so I'm going to recap. Keep your spark alive. Ask if they have a request. and tell them tell them what your limit is here. Is your limit 5 more minutes? Is your limit, is it quickly approaching? And communicate that. So if you're just walking out of the room, or, hopefully you don't want to get to exploding or blowing up stage, but they kind of know what's up. So I hope that helps you deal with your spouse if they're really negative. On behalf of all negative spouses everywhere, thank you for putting up with us. The secret is that sometimes we annoy ourselves with our negativity and actually appreciate someone giving us some boundaries to remain a little bit more positive about the outlook and seeing the good things in life. So thank you, positive spouses, for keeping it going in our marriages, and we're really doing our best. Talk to you guys later.